turn that on.
Oh.
Hopefully it wasn't black there for just a second.
Well, if it was, okay.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Okay, so welcome everybody, and yeah, I'm just going through the comments, and it looks like a lot of people have already joined us. Hello to everybody. I see CP Picks Edits and Anya and Teacher Ariana. I also see, wow, we have a lot of people joining us tonight. Haley, good to see you, and also Chayala and Linda. Nice to see all of you as well, and also Taylor and CD, Aaron, typo, there you go, and Cynthia, Jason, Richard, and Julia. And so it's so great to be able to see everybody tonight. We just got finished with our last Zoom group practice session. This is the last one for 2020, and so man, we're almost into a new year. We're almost into 2021. How crazy is that? So tonight we're going to be going over ways that we can get motivated and stay motivated. I know with a new year come new goals. And so we're going to be talking about how you can really perpetuate and really keep that energy going, not just on January 1st, but throughout the entire year, so we can really achieve all the goals that we set out for ourselves. So we're going to be going over 3 big ways that you can do that. And after we go over those 3 things, we're also going to be giving you a little sneak peek into what we have planned for 2021 for the channel and for classes and courses and stuff like that as well. And we're going to end off the night with the biggest giveaway that we've done so far. We're going to, first of all, give everybody a discount on all of the merch for the next 24 hours. So if you just go to the links in the description down below, or you can go to the shelf on the bottom where it has some of the shirts and stuff that we have. When you go to checkout, you just use the promo code MOTIVATED, and it'll get you 10% off your entire order. And secondly, the big one is that we're going to be giving away 3 months free access to our Beyond the Basics program. Which includes all of the exclusive videos, all the workshops and classes and courses that we have done so far. And so that's a pretty substantial package. And so we'll be giving away that to somebody in the comments tonight. And so be sure to hang out with us until the end to be where we will be announcing who wins that. And again, there'll be links in the description for all the stuff that we'll be going over tonight. Do you want to add anything before we get rolling?
I'm just checking. I just hold on.
I see somebody is sign language is big on my 2021 calendar. That's great.
So somebody asked. Wait, hold on. I lost it.
This one up here?
Yeah. So I was wondering if you. Yes. Could talk more about being confident about your ASL. So you mean like being confident about, to talk about how to become more confident with your signing, like how yourself can feel confident in your own production of sign? Is that what you mean? I'm just curious. I was like reading it and I'm like, I'm like blowing through like,
yeah,
like,
and
comments just went poof. So I'm like, wait, yep, okay. So she wants us to talk about how to become like more confident in your signing ability and everything when you produce it. Okay, not a problem. So, gotta get myself positioned.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and answer that question before we get started with the motivation?
I do.
Okay, let's go for it.
Because confidence. Oh, sorry. We're not like equally in the screen. So
fair access.
Confidence is, for some people, it comes naturally. Like for me, I'm just like 100% go. Let's do it. But for others, it struggle like, I don't really want to like put myself out there. But the best thing you can do is when you know when you know something. So if you're like, I'm going to say this, and I know that this is how I'm going to say it, and I know it's right, to not overthink it. Our lack of confidence comes from us overthinking what we're about to say and self-doubt. So we're like, you know what? I don't think this isn't right. This isn't right. But to just, there's oh, what is it called? We had a whole workshop, not us, we went to a whole workshop on this, but it's silencing the negative committee in your brain. But they have like this fun way of saying it. But there's like this little committee in your brain that like tells you all the negative things about what you're about to do, and just to silence them, to be like, shh, be quiet. And that's going to help you be like, okay, you know what? I know what I'm going to do, and I know what I'm going to say, and I'm just going to go for it. And to accept the fact that sometimes we might make a mistake, but that's okay. That's all about the learning process. And that's just how, like, our mistakes are our greatest teachers. So even if we make a mistake, to accept it and be like, okay, but you have to put yourself out there. And sometimes we feel uncomfortable and we're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. But putting yourself out there, just overcoming that initial fear, is really going to help get you to that point to be like, okay. And it's going to be something that takes time. It's not a quick, like, I'm confident now, like, I'm good. I'm going to have to work at it every day. And that's why we have like our Wednesday night group practice sessions are a really good opportunity to build that confidence in yourself, because it's a safe environment. It's a judgment-free zone. Judgment is not allowed in that group. It's not. It's like forbidden. Because everybody starts somewhere. So those are one of like the best places that I can recommend for you to, like, if you can, hop into one of our group practice sessions and practice what you know with somebody you don't know. I mean, you're not going to know who's going to be in your group, but know that they're going to be very supportive, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, and you guys are probably going to be on the same level. So to get out there, practice with somebody you don't know, and slowly work up that confidence, that's really going to help you to be able to just go out there and just bam, do it. I can go on that for so
yeah, and just as a reminder, if you do want to join that Zoom practice session, we have a link in the description down below. So if you want to join for free, you can just join the newsletters that we send out every week, and also we send out invitations to all of our supporters, whether it's on YouTube or Patreon or Beyond the Basics.
Mm-hmm. Johnni asked, when is a good time to challenge yourself? So you'll want to challenge yourself when you start to get in that comfortable zone, like, you know what, I'm doing pretty good, I'm understanding what's going on in my group, I'm feeling pretty confident where I'm at. Now's the time where you need to kick it up a notch. Because once we hit that comfortable zone, we start to plateau. And when we plateau is we'll start to, we lose, what happens when you
motivation.
Yeah, you start to like feel discouraged because you don't feel like you're making progress. You're like stuck in the same boat. You're like, okay, here I go, because we're too comfortable with where we are. So when you get to that comfortable spot, like, you know what, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I'm in a beginner intermediate group. I feel like, you know what, I've got this. Now you need to go up. Now you need to go to an intermediate advanced group to challenge yourself. That's going to really help keep you learning, keep yourself like motivated, because you're going to have to, you know, keep up, get up there and get to that intermediate advanced level. And then eventually you're going to get to the advanced level. So yeah, anytime you feel comfortable, it's time to challenge. And then realize later, anyway, to help understand. Okay.
Maybe we should just go ahead and get started on the 3 things to stay motivated.
Yeah, go ahead, and I'm going to keep tabs on.
Okay, so
on the chat, I've got you guys.
Yeah, and we really try to get everybody. So if we happen to miss, it's okay to go ahead and type your comment again. Those comments go by pretty fast for us. So sometimes it's easy to,
like, I'll be looking at a comment and I'm reading it, and then like all these other comments will go in, and the comment I was looking at goes phoom, and I'm like, wait. So yeah, if we don't answer your question and you really want it answered, drop it again, drop, and I'll find you, I promise.
Yeah, and YouTube does have a feature. It's called Super Chat. So it's basically, it's a paid comment, but it will highlight it and it'll put it to the very top. And so it's really easy to catch it. So that is an option if you want to go ahead and do that. And it's a good way to support the channel because it's a lot of hard work to be doing all this stuff. So let's go ahead and go to number 1. So number 1 is your reason. Number 2 is going to be, we'll be talking about your goals, and number 3 is going to be your habits. So let's go ahead and start with your reason. And this is number 1 because this is really one of the most important things when it comes to getting motivated and staying motivated. And so this is going to be really the reason why you're doing it in the first place. And so for learning sign language, for a lot of people, they have a really noble and really important reason why that they want to learn sign language. And so it is really important to really have that why solidified in your mind, because it's going to help propel you forward, especially when times get tough. And if you'd like to do a little more digging into really the power of starting with why, one of my favorite books is by Simon Sinek, and it's entitled Start with Why. And his is more of an outlook towards Simon Sinek. I don't know if you were...
Oh, Simon Sinek. I was close.
But anyways, it's the whole prospect of that book is to really solidify your reason why you're doing something. And, you know, we can know how to do something and we might know what to learn, but if we don't really have a very powerful reason why we're doing it, it can be really easy to kind of lose steam and to become unmotivated and to get discouraged and sometimes just to give up entirely. And so that's something that we always want to keep in the forefront of our minds is when we are starting to establish a goal, especially with the new year upon us. Maybe you're setting the goal of, I want to become fluent in sign language, or at least I want to improve, or whatever that goal is. Always remember what the reason why, and even put it down on paper. If we put it down, something down on paper, statistically, we're going to be 40% more likely to actually accomplish that goal that we set out for ourselves. And so that's going to be the number 1 thing, is to really have a strong reason why you're doing it. So start with why. That's going to be number 1.
Do you know who ASL Rochelle is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Rochelle,
I didn't recognize the name, so I had to ask real quick.
Oh, what's her last name? I've just actually read a couple of her books, and she has some really great books for beginners. One of them is Learning Signing Essentials in 30 Days, and it walks you from day 1 to day 30, and it covers a lot of the basics of kind of deaf culture and finger spelling, and also towards the end of that book, it gets into ASL Grammar, like what topic comment is, and some other common things to do with grammar. And so she has that book, and then it has a complimentary workbook that goes along with it. So yeah, that's a great place to start if you're just getting started, and it can kind of hold your hand through the process.
I knew she was coming. I can feel it. What, honey? Oh, no, she's coming to you. I'm going to go through the chat.
They're asking if I recommend ASL Rochelle. Yeah, she has some great videos. And a lot of her content, I've been watching her videos and I've been reading her books, and a lot of it's really up to date. Sometimes it can be tough with sign language books because a lot of them, there were a ton written in the 80s and 90s, and over the years, there hasn't been as many books published. And so when you go to pick up a book, it's easy to not look at what year it was published, and you end up learning signs that are 30, 40 years old that may or may not be still commonly used. So that's kind of a good thing that I appreciate about her, is that she's pretty up to date and she's very passionate about what she does.
Okay, you want to help her? Well, I'm gonna go through your guys' comments really quick. Who was it that said it? Somebody said it. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna find you because I saw it and I was like, what? I didn't realize that. Somebody said it. Ah, Cynthia. I don't know. I'll have Chris check on that for you about why you didn't get the newsletter. I'll double check. If you have his email, go ahead and send him an email, and then he'll double check and make sure if you're in that list. Okay, hold on, guys. I got you.
Oh, good.
What?
Some people are sharing their reasons why they're wanting to learn the language. Yeah,
Wonderful.
Go ahead. And let us know what
Where'd it go?
kind of inspired you to get started down this learning sign language.
This one. What advice would you wait. Don't leave. Where'd you go? There you are. What advice would you give for new ASL learners? You know, a lot of times what happens is we get so excited in the beginning and we learn 100 new signs, 200 new signs, 300 new signs, and we're just like, oh, which is great. But what happens is we eventually lose that motivation. So one of the things we like to tell those that are brand new is to not lose sight, and this kind of ties in with what he's saying, to not lose sight of your reason why. My thought, I heard her. Think of too, like what kind of learner are you? Are you a visual learner? Are you a studious learner? I don't know if that's the right word for that, but do you like learning from a book? And think about that. There's so many resources out there right now. There's YouTube channels, which his website has a long list of ASL that, ASL Meredith, Sign Duo, Sign with Heart, the Daily Moth. There's more, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. But there's so many resources out there where you can watch people sign and then like really work on your receptive skills, and then opportunities to practice what you're learning. And as a beginner, that's really important because you need to practice what you learn in order for it to stay here. If you're not practicing it, it's just gone. So you need to get that practice. You need to practice your receptive and really stay motivated with it. And it can be hard, but that's kind of what he's what he's talking about, is knowing your reason why. Why are you wanting to learn it? And then staying motivated and reminding yourself, I'm doing this for this reason. I know it's hard. I've hit a plateau. I'm not where I want to be, but that's okay. As long as I keep going, I'm going to accomplish my goal. So, and this is my tip with new signers. If you can master this in the beginning, it gets easier with people understanding you. What happens when we first start learning sign language, we're so focused on what's happening right here, we're not paying attention to what's happening right here. And as a signer, it is so important that this and this match. So your facial expressions have to match what you're saying. And a lot of times with new signers, they stonewall because their brain is focused on, what am I saying? How is this right? But the message that you're trying to convey is lost because your face is stonewalled. They don't know if you're happy, sad, serious, mad. Is this important? Do you care? Is it funny? They have no idea. So they're trying to figure out what you're saying because they can't figure out your face. And if you can master your facial expressions in the beginning to be like, okay, I'm going to talk about this and I'm happy about it. So I'm going to make sure I try to stay upbeat. And then they're going to pick it up like, okay, this is something good. Okay. And they're watching. Even if you drop something here, you drop a sign, you miss something, you didn't sign it just right, they're going to figure it out. They're going to be like, okay, I got you. Okay. As long as you've got it right here. For example, for me, if I am mad, you will know. If I'm happy, you will know. If I'm excited, you will know. I'm sure you guys have figured that out about me by now. You'll know. It's right here. It's coming out of my mouth. You just know. A deaf person does the exact same thing right here. My tone of voice as a hearing person will say it all. With a deaf person, their tone of voice is their face, their facial expressions. So you have to master these facial expressions to help convey what message you're trying to. And that's kind of like one of the things I really encourage new signers to do, is to really master your facial expressions in the beginning. And when you can do that, everything else will just fall into place as well. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant with that one, but she asked, and it was really important. Okay.
I've seen some great reasons why they're learning sign language. I see Melissa saying that my sister was born hard of hearing at 9-ish. She'd constantly practice because she was told it'll get worse. I'd watch in awe, but naturally she found me irritating. She quit learning, but I didn't. That was 30 years ago. Well, good for you for being able to stick with it for 30 years. That's amazing. Sheila's asking, how do I find a topic to learn about? Because I feel like I learned a bunch of general words, but now I'm not sure where to focus on.
Oh,
go for it.
that's another one of my topics. Okay, I'm gonna try to not go. Blah, 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 blah. So, who asked that question? Shayla. Okay, Shayla. So this kind of again goes back to your why. Why are you learning the language? To give you an example, suppose you work at a grocery store and you have a customer who comes in who's deaf, and your goal is to communicate with them. That is your reason why. You're like, I want to talk to my deaf customer. I want to do it. So you've said you've learned a lot of general signs. I always tell people, learn the signs that are relevant to your reason why, to your situation. So a person who works at a grocery store, for example, they're going to focus on signs that are about money, food, credit card, how's your day, basic conversations that you as a worker would have with a customer. And that's what you're going to focus on, is your current situation. Or maybe you're a teacher who has a deaf student and you want to communicate with that student without having to use the interpreter. You as the teacher want to be able to have this direct line of communication with your student, which is wonderful. By the way, if any of you out there are teachers and that ever happens, please do so. And so you're like, okay, I'm a teacher. What do I need to do? I need to learn school signs, school setting situations, so I can communicate with the student. So like you said, you've learned a lot of these general signs, but why are you learning? For what purpose is it? Master that scenario or that situation signs. And then from there, branch out. You don't have to... I'm just learning because I thought it was fun in communicating, so I kind of still don't know. Yeah, so I mean, and that's okay too. So I would say it's because, like you say, because it's fun, it's something you want to do. So focus on basic conversations about, maybe you would just meet a deaf person out and about. Okay, so if I bumped into a deaf person for the first time, what would I want to ask them? What would I want to say? And so focus on that. Hi, how are you? Where are you from? Just how you would have a basic conversation with somebody that you just met. Kind of focus on that and then kind of go out from there. And that's really a good question though for anybody who might feel like that, because there's a lot to learn and can be so overwhelming, because you're like, where do I start? Where do I start? Because I can learn this, I can learn this, I can learn this, I can learn this. But just focus on what you need to know and then go from there. For example, a grocery store worker wouldn't necessarily need to know signs related to education or medical. But if my goal is to be an interpreter, that's why I'm learning the language, I need to know those signs. So it all depends on what your reason is and just kind of going from there. Sorry, guys, that was a lot. I tried to condense it and it just didn't happen.
Teacher Ariana, ESL, says that's great advice. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
This is cool. Bobby said, we started a small group off of the 7-day challenge class. We meet usually once a week, mainly going through Bill Vickers' classes on YouTube.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes,
awesome.
Absolutely. I love Bill Vickers and all the stuff that he has. Amazing person to watch and to learn from. Absolutely. He's got a lot of really cool stuff too, like about classifiers and grammar. I know somebody asked if you could do a video on grammar. And I'll tell you, grammar is a hot topic because there's so many variations of what's considered ASL grammar and what isn't. Is it important? Is it not? Is it the make or break of sign language? Bill Vickers has something on that.
And I encourage you to go to liveprint.com. And actually, if you go to Google and you type in ASL Grammar, he has an article. It's the first one that pops up.
Yeah.
And click that and just read through it. And he has some really good insight onto not just what ASL Grammar is, but also kind of debunks some of the things that a lot of people might say or think about ASL Grammar. So I definitely encourage you to try that out.
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, ASL Grammar is one of those hot topics, especially if and this has happened to us before, if there's an ASL instructor in here and they'll tell you This is, it's happened. So I'm telling you, it's one of those topics. But I definitely encourage you to go to Bill Vickers and like look at his stuff on grammar, because
and he's really the de facto person to go to as well. So like
the best person
can't go wrong.
The deaf.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna tell you what to do. So yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. There was.
Oh, I lost it.
You lost it?
I was like, that was it. Oh, there it is.
I was gonna mention.
Right there. That one.
This one?
That's the one.
Okay.
It ties in. So yeah, Taylor, it ties in with exactly what we were talking about. You're a gymnastic coach and you want to be prepared in case you get any deaf students. So yeah, thinking about some of the terminology that would come with that, being a gymnastics coach, because that's going to really, I don't know if in that situation an interpreter would be there. I don't know, maybe. But if not, being able to communicate with that student. Is that what you would call it? A student?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a student.
Gymnast?
Gymnast?
In training?
I'm not good with the words. But yeah, so absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see. Madison Haley. Hello.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kick over to the next one. And this is going to be really important, especially going into a new year, because a lot of us take January 1st as an opportunity to start new goals. And so I'm going to talk about the second one as far as staying motivated, is to have really good goals. And one of the mistakes that a lot of us make is that our goals are too big and too general. So for instance, we might say, I have the goal of learning sign language in 2021.
I'm going to get to you.
And so what can be really hard about that is, one, that's a big goal, right? And how do you measure that? How do you measure like how far along you are in that goal? And it's not quite specific enough. Learning sign language is a very general goal. It's an amazing and it's a great goal, but let's break it down a little bit. So first thing is that we want to establish small goals along the way. And one thing that we can kind of parallel that to is a marathon runner. A marathon runner doesn't start running a marathon from day one, right? That might be their long-term goal. But what are some of their short-term goals? I want to complete a 5K. And then maybe they go from a 5K to a 10K, and maybe they're trying to work on their endurance. And I want to be able to run 3 or 4 or 5 miles without walking, maybe trying to work on their pace or working on their endurance. And so being able to have smaller goals makes that journey towards that final big goal much easier to achieve, because it gives us milestones. And if we just say, I'm going to run a marathon, and there's no mile markers along the way, and it's hard to know how far along we are in that race, it's going to be really discouraging really fast. And so making small goals is going to make that a much more enjoyable process, and being able to keep that excitement throughout. And being specific. And this is something that can really help us too. So for example, this is something that polyglots do in spades. Polyglots are people that speak a lot of languages. And just a couple polyglots that you might want to look into. One of them is Steve Kaufman, speaks 20 languages. Lydia Makova is another one. They both have, Lydia has a TED Talk that's amazing. She has like 4 main points of what makes language learning really successful. And one of them is about goals and how to create systems for yourself. And the secret is to make it consistent. Create something that you can do every day. And 15 minutes every day is going to be far more beneficial for you than studying something 1 hour once a week. And a lot of that is memory retention. In a week, we forget a ton. I think it's about 50 to 56% of information that we learn is gone in about a week. So a lot of if we're learning in an ASL class and we only meet for 1 hour once a week, half that time is going to be spent just relearning what we've forgotten. So if you can find a way to make it consistent and make it daily, that's going to make a huge difference. And there's another book that I really enjoy. It's called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And I'm going to give you a quick quote. And he says, every goal we have is preceded by a process. And so the secret to success is to be committed to the daily process, to create excitement and enthusiasm for the possibility of achieving your goals. And this is actually somebody that when he was 20 or 21 got into a really severe car accident, so bad that it stopped his heart. And so he was literally dead for like 6 seconds before he was revived. And he lost his ability to walk. And so before he even started rehabilitation, he wanted to set the goal for himself that he wanted to complete a marathon. And the really insane part about that is years later, he not only completed a marathon, but he also completed an ultra marathon, which is like 2 marathons back to back. A regular one's 26 miles long. He completed a 52-mile marathon.
Good grief.
And he attributes that to the daily process. And so a lot of times we create these really huge goals for ourselves, and we kind of negate the daily process of it. And
like running.
It can have a huge impact. So tip 1, make your goals smaller and make them more specific. And if possible, make them a daily process.
I need to go back.
Oh, you want to go back? Okay. Go for
it. So I told you I'd come back for you because I really liked your question, because I work with this every day. So I work in pediatrics and have little patients who are deaf. What is your advice on how to sign to a child in a way that they would feel comfortable with an unfamiliar grown-up signing to them? So I'll tell you why I like that question. First off, because you work in pediatrics and you would like to interact with these children who are deaf. That is amazing. I'm a medical interpreter. I work with a wide variety of deaf patients, very, very young to older. And I'll tell you, nothing is better than seeing their face light up when the medical professional signs to them and not the interpreter. When that medical professional, even if it's basic, doesn't matter, and you sign to them, "Hi, how are you?" And you can voice it at the same time if you want, so the parents know what's going on. "Hi, how are you?" They're gonna go like, "What?" Because normally their interpreter, me, would be like, "Hey, they said hi, how are you?" The unfamiliar grown-up who's signing with them is typically me, not me specifically, but the interpreter. We're that unfamiliar person, so that happens to them regularly because there's no one interpreters with the same person multiple times. So, but you as their doctor, or you who works in this office, and you get these same deaf, you'll start to become less unfamiliar, but you'll be recognized as the worker who can sign to them, where they come in and they know that you're going to sign to them. It can be different interpreter after different interpreter after different interpreter, but you're going to be that one person, that constant. When they come into that office, they're going to know that, oh, she's going to sign to me, or he's going to sign to me, or they're going to sign to me because they're learning it. And that's going to be that's really impactful for them. It's just like wow. So my advice for them, because I've helped nurses do this, is to just think, so for children, the basics, what would you say to them if they were coming in? Again, "Hi, how are you? I love your shoes." Think about, like, what are kids interested today? Like, do the kids like the superheroes, like, Spider-Man, or, Captain America, just different things that you can, like, sorry, I said superheroes and they all just went away. I'm like
Wolverine.
And I'm
hey,
like,
by the way, Bill Vickers has an awesome video where it's like him and like another like nerd that just like talk about superheroes, and a lot of times they're like, "Hey, how do you like sign like Nightcrawler?" Was a kind of cool where it's like, "Would it be like Nightcrawler?" It's like, "No, it's too literal." And one was it came up with,
"Oh, cool."
I'm like, that's really cool. So like, one, it's cool to kind of learn a bunch of superhero names, but also the kind of the process of like two deaf getting together and kind of coming up with signs that don't have signs, and kind of get a sneak peek into kind of that evolution of how sign language is constantly evolving. So maybe I'll look around. I'll see if I can make a post or leave a video in the description or something.
But yeah, so I mean, just kind of think of those scenarios, those situations that are like, hey, if I'm going to be talking to this child, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? And just remember this, and this ties back to if you're just learning it, it's all right here. So don't freeze in your face when you're signing like, just be super friendly like you normally would. Smile and just talk to them, maybe get down on your knees, however you talk to a child in that setting. Me as an interpreter, there's times where I have been on my knees. And let me tell you, it's hard to get back up off your knees when you're wearing heels. I'm like slipping. But there's times where as an interpreter, I'll get down on my knees to communicate with this deaf child so I'm eye level with them. So I'm not like this scary, like, rah, person over there, because at work, I wear heels. So it's like, but to get down on my knees with them and to talk to them, make that eye contact with them so they feel more comfortable, they feel safe. And so, yeah, I love the fact that that's something that you're wanting to do. That is amazing. So absolutely, just think of the basics. Think of what you would talk to a child in that scenario anyways, and just learn some of those signs. Practice your face, and then absolutely, because not only will the deaf patient, the child, really appreciate it, the parents will too. The parents will be like, oh, wow, because you're taking an interest in their child. And that's amazing. And for me as an interpreter, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, this is so great. I'm like, I've had a doctor who was fluent in sign language. Let me tell you, you have not known what to do with yourself when you're ready to go to work and you're like, okay, I got this. Here I go. Here's my client. I'm like, okay, doctor comes in and I'm in interpreting mode. And that doctor goes, bah, 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 and starts talking to my client in full sign. And I'm standing here, right? I'm like, what? And my client is like shocked, like, what's going on? And the doctor laughs, ha ha ha, and he's a coda. And so he's fluent in the language. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, do I sign? And my client thought it was funny because she's looking at me and she's like, I guess we don't need you. And I'm like, oh, I'm offended. But we laughed about it. And, the doctor, it was fine. It was fun. We had a good time with it. But that shock and that, oh my gosh, that the way the client just like, it's wonderful. So absolutely. Okay, sorry. I'm going like on and on about that. I'm sorry. I read it and I was like it popped up and I'm all, whoa, I want to come back to that one because that's like really, really important. So I love that. What?
What's up, baby?
You're what? You're coming? Okay.
So quiet about it.
She's like whispering, I'm coming. I'm coming. Like, okay.
Alexandra, hey, Chris, are you trying to become a polyglot? Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'm actually, so English and ASL we're fluent in. I'm semi-fluent in Spanish depending on the situation. And we're currently learning Chinese because we really got addicted to this Chinese channel, so we're learning a little bits of that. I spent a couple years learning Vietnamese, so I'm like semi-polyglotish, but I wouldn't say like I'm really confident in a lot of those languages.
We have two. English and sign.
Yeah. So those are our two wheelhouse languages for sure.
Here, I'll hit the button.
Let's see here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the third point that I was going to talk about, and the third one's going to be about habits. And we kind of touched on the importance of doing them daily. But I want to touch on the process itself. And so usually we have two ways of approaching things. We can do it for an intrinsic, or we do, let me reset. So we can either make the process intrinsically rewarding, or we try to make the process extrinsically rewarding. And so basically what that means is, if it's intrinsically rewarding, it means that it's something that we enjoy doing. We enjoy the process. If we're doing it and it's extrinsically rewarding, it's basically like we're doing it for a thing, right? And this is classic in like the classroom environment. And I'm going to mention one of my favorite books. As an educator, like I've been teaching on and off for about 15 years since I was 20 years old. And I've gone through about 40 or 50 books about education or about teaching, and this is one of my favorites. So if you're a teacher, or even if you're a parent interested in being a better and effective teacher, this is definitely a book that you might want to check out. And it's called The Motivated Brain by Gail Gregory. And this is what she says about intrinsically and extrinsically rewarding systems. And just do like a sentence or two. So intrinsic rewards tap into inner potential and interests, allowing us to express our true self and grow. Extrinsic rewards provide tangible rewards or incentives. And she goes on to say, like, you know, stickers or pizza or parties or bonuses. And so, like, this is for the classroom. But we do this all the time. So when we go to set out a goal for ourselves, it's important to have more than just this extrinsic or this external reward that we're working for, right? You know, if we want to get employee of the month and like the reward is, hey, you get a free slice of pizza, and that reward isn't satisfying or isn't motivating anymore, guess what? You're gonna give up, right?
That's a horrible thing.
But if you find a way to make that process enjoyable, you're going to be much more likely to succeed in whatever it is. And so this is really true of students in schools, but it's also true of us as adult learners too. And this is something that you'll also find in common with a lot of polyglots, right? They talk less about the end goal of becoming fluent, but they talk more about how you can make the process enjoyable. Because let me tell you, if you don't enjoy the process, I don't care what the reward is at the end, we're probably going to just give up. And so, so yeah, it's really important to make sure that whatever process that we set out for ourselves is intrinsically rewarding. And just a quick example of that is that a lot of times, like we learn through maybe YouTube videos, right? And I'm going to learn these 10 signs about animals, or I'm going to learn these 10 signs about school, or whatever it is. And like, that is really effective and it's fun for a while, but sometimes it's really easy to get burnt out on that process. And guess what? If we get burnt out, we're just going to quit, right? So it's really important for us to find a variety of ways to engage ourselves in that learning process. If you know we tire out on a particular person, you know, maybe shift gears and try learning from other deaf educators or deaf professors, or even just experiment. And maybe it's joining, you know, practice groups and working with people at your own level. Just really try to find something that works for you as an individual, because it's really hard to just say, oh, this works for everybody. So really find something that is intrinsically rewarding for yourself, and you'll find that you'll have much more success in accomplishing not only just learning sign language, but really any goal that you set forth for yourself.
I'm trying to look something up for somebody.
Oh, the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's one out there.
Because I watched that video a few months ago, and I think it was like.
Yeah, I'm like, the only one I've seen is like, I've seen like big, but I haven't. I was trying to find it real quick, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, try typing Bill Vickers superheroes.
I did. It's like 40 minutes long.
Oh yeah, it's a long video.
I was like, oh no.
And that's kind of the thing about Bill Vickers videos too, is like they're an amazing way to learn the language, but a lot of times those lessons are super long, and so it can be it can be tough. Oh, that's a good idea. Could you provide a list somewhere of small ASL goals we can strive towards? I didn't really know how to break learning ASL down to specific goals. So this is, again, going to be different for everybody. One thing that I did is just kind of think of milestones. So like when you're first getting started, it's really easy. It's like, oh, I want to learn and memorize the alphabet. Boom, done. Okay, what do I learn next? Maybe it's numbers. Then maybe it's, okay, I want to memorize 100 or 200 signs. But eventually, it gets to a point where it's hard to measure, like, how many signs do you really know? And, you know, you can write down things into a notebook up until a point. But then you can start thinking about other broader goals. Maybe I want to have a conversation without an interpreter and without somebody that's fluent, on my own, with no safety net, with somebody else that's deaf. And that can be a milestone that you can kind of work your way towards. And then you can, set up, maybe I want to, really put myself out there and go to a deaf social by myself. And all of a sudden you're the one hearing person in a room full of deaf individuals. And that can be a real, it can be nerve wracking, but again, it can be one of those things that you're working towards. And then, those goals can change and evolve as you become more and more fluent. And just like Johnny was saying earlier, is that it's really important to continually challenging ourselves. And this is like a fancier way of saying basically you need to challenge yourself, is the Yerkes-Dodson law of, if something is too challenging, we're going to give up. Yerkes, and then Dodson. But that's something that's also in that same book, The Motivated Brain. But anyways, it's basically, if it's too challenging, you're going to give up, right? But if it's too easy, you're not going to progress, and you're going to get complacent and maybe give up too, or just not make that progress. So the sweet spot is that you really want to find something that is just above your comfort level to kind of push you to the next level. And so creating a goal that might push you to that next level might be a great way to go.
Okay, I do, because we are
big green man.
I know. But I do want to do the giveaway, because we're reaching that time, and it's kind of important, because I know some people will like.
And it's getting late for a lot of you that are on the East Coast.
The giveaway that we're doing tonight, to recap, is we're giving 3 months free access to everything that we've done: workshops, classes, videos, everything. Courses, everything that we've done. We're giving 3 months free access to all of that video. What do you call it?
Beyond the Basics?
Yeah, it's called Beyond the Basics, but I was trying whatever. Again, I'm not good with the names or with the words, but anyways, so we're giving that away to somebody tonight. And so what we'll do is we'll pick somebody at random, and then we'll let you guys know who it is, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So
actually, I have a surprise.
All right.
So everybody that is here live, everybody gets it. So if you're here with us live, I left a link in the description. It's near the top of it, and it says Beyond the Basics, 3 free months. Click that link, and I set it up as a 3-month free trial. So all you have to do is sign up for the free trial, and you have complete access for 3 months, completely free. So if you're here with us, that link is going to be good for the next 24 hours. After that, it's going to go. It's going to reset back to the way it was. So go ahead and take a look at that, and we're really excited to be able to provide another way for you to learn the language. And without your support, that would not have been possible. And so we are eternally grateful for everybody that has been able to support our mission to make learning sign language as accessible as possible. And so we wanted to give back in return. And so I think this is a good way to kind of end 2020 on somewhat of a positive note, before it grows up and it becomes 2021 and it learns how to drink.
That was my joke. You and Alicia stole my joke today. 2021.
And also,
he stole my joke. It's not cool, bro. But yeah, so super excited. Somebody asked, where is it?
So if you're on YouTube,
can you drop that or put it somewhere so everybody knows where it's at?
I wonder if I can actually throw the link into the chat itself. Go ahead and paste it.
And chat. Is it there?
So if you're on YouTube,
a link, though. Hold on, let me try it this way. Let's see if this will work.
I don't think that'll work either.
I win.
Oh.
All right.
It hyperlinked on
the other
both.
one too.
Yeah.
Okay. We both win. But anyway.
Okay, so you can go to the live chat, or if you go to the description, I had some links to the books that we've mentioned so far, like The Motivated Brain, Start With Why, The Miracle Morning, and then right below that it says tonight's giveaways. And the first one is Beyond the Basics. Just click the link and you can sign up for 3 months for free. And then the other one is 10% off of all the merch that we have. You just use the promo code MOTIVATED. Let me see if I can throw that back up, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I misspell things, really easy things. So motivated. So that'll get you 10% off of all of the stuff. So like the shirt, that shirt.
Which I'm sad because he ordered one of these for himself, and I didn't even know he made it. And it like shows up, and I'm like, "What's this?" And he puts it on. I'm like, "Hey, I want one." Oh, well, and I still haven't gotten my shirt yet. I'm like, oh, offended. I'm like, that's cool. I let my hands do the talking shirt, but I really like that shirt. That's cool. But
best night ever.
But so yeah, super excited to be able to do that for you guys. I mean, there's a lot of content in there, videos that we've done, classes, courses, everything is just there in the Beyond the Basics thing. So it's super exciting for all of you to jump in. But like Chris said, it's only there for 24 hours. So please jump on it ASAP, because then it's going to be gone. Is there a coupon code?
For the merch, once you go to checkout, you can type in motivated as the promo code. For the Beyond the Basics, for the 3 months free, there's no promo code.
Yeah,
it's a 3-month free trial. And if you want to cancel before that's over, then that's perfectly fine.
No, it doesn't normally have a 3-month free trial. It doesn't have any trial. It's just
previously I had it set up for 7 days. But again, I wanted to. No, I left it like that. So
okay.
If you missed out on the 24-hour window, then you can still sign up for the 7 days and just kind of get a glimpse of what we have to offer. Like over the course of the summer, we did a 7-day boot camp, a 30-day crash course, and a 7-day challenge, and all of those are accessible through that program.
I got a question that says, why do you, Johnny, sign who differently? Who? Like I sign who?
Who, or who?
Yeah, there's who, or who. I know. You want me to go into those? I'll show you the whys. Why, and I can't remember the other one.
So there's the pull back and wiggle.
There's the pull back. Oh yeah, pull back.
But
and wiggle.
Did you leave out these?
No, I did that. I did those. That.
So
yeah.
1, 2, 3 fingers.
All kinds.
1, 2, 3 fingers, or then you do the 1, 2. Anyways.
Who? There's variations to the sign who. There's who, and then there's who, or the old way, which is the way I originally learned it, as who. So there's 3 different ways to sign that sign.
It's good to know what's out there. Okay, so I just wanted to give you, if you're still with us at this point, just a real quick sneak peek into 2021, what we have planned. So I'm personally starting the year off with knee surgery, so not that exciting. So I'm going to be down for like about a week. But next week, Johnny's going to be hosting our free group practice sessions.
Yeah, I will not be here. We will not do the live. So
yeah, no live stream next week, but we will be hosting the free group practice sessions, because we know that it's one of the most important. Like I did a survey, I think about a week ago, and I think about 600 something people voted on it. And the number one thing that you find challenging is finding somebody else to practice with. And so that's something that we are really wanted to provide, is a free place and a safe place to just kind of go and have a place to congregate and facilitate a place to where you can connect with others, and particularly pair you up with somebody at your skill level. Go ahead, babe.
There's a couple of questions in here in regards to the Beyond the Basics. Some are asking if they have to use a credit card in order to sign up with it, if there's a way to do it without having to do that, mainly because it's a membership is what it is, and then it's a free 3-month trial with it, which doesn't happen. But I don't know the answer to that question because I don't do that. Yeah,
it's set up through it's WooCommerce, and so when you set up a free trial through that software, it requires a credit card upon sign up, but it won't charge you until the trial is over. And so if you cancel anytime before those 3 months, then you'll never get charged a thing.
Yeah, so it won't charge you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it won't charge you.
Yep. So if you want to cancel it like 2 months and 29 days later,
but they'll I'm not with the tech. If they signed up for it tonight and they have access to it, if they unsigned up for it, will it go away?
Yeah, so then
Okay.
you'd have to go through the 7-day free trial.
Okay, so
if you sign up tonight and you cancel, let's say 2 days from now, and you'll change your mind, you want to go back, then you lose the 3 months, and you'd only have 7 days.
If you do it, you sign up. Just be sure you remind yourself to cancel it before your 3 months is up, like the day before. That way, you won't lose access to all this stuff. But yeah.
Good luck on the surgery.
Thanks. It's on Monday. It's his knee.
I'm trying to play it cool, but it's my first surgery, and I'm a little nervous about it. Even though it's not anything major. She actually had the same kind of knee surgery 10 years ago. And this is ironically, it's the same kind of surgery. It's a torn meniscus. It's kind of that like I don't know. It's kind of like a hard tissue that lays between your two knee bones. And there's a tear in there, so they'd have to go in there orthoscopically and remove the tear. But yeah, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, he's like super like nervous, but I keep telling him like it's okay. Like it's on Monday. What's bothering him too is the fact that because of COVID, normally I could be with him like beforehand and like when he wakes up. But because of COVID, they're not allowing anybody. Like I have to drop him off at the door, and the door is locked. And so it's like this big deal. So that's like stressful for him too. Because like me, I know, believe it or not, right? I'm the one who knows everything about what he's doing. I know the name of his doctor. I know the name of hey, ask him the name of his doctor. Do it right now in the comments. I dare you. His answer is going to be what?
Melissa, she said, good luck with baby girl jumping on daddy's lap. Enjoy the drugs.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about that because she's a very hop on pop kind of girl.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I have all of the knowledge and information on what's going to happen to him, and he doesn't. And I'm the one who is very assertive when asking questions like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? Are you going to do that? Well, what about this? Well, I don't like that. Maybe you should. Where he's very quiet. So I can't be in there with him. It's a control issue for me now, and it's like stressful for him because he's like, like the surgery center called him and asked him a question, and he goes, my wife knows the answer to that, but I don't know. And I'm like, do you see why it stresses me out that he's going to be alone in there? And the nurse is like, it's okay. We'll just call you. Like you can go shopping or you can do whatever, and then as soon as he's done, we'll wheel him out and put him in the car, and he's good. And I'm like, I have questions. I have questions. So yeah, it'll be crazy. It'll be good though. But I'll keep you guys. Well, no, that's not true. I will not keep you guys updated next Wednesday because I won't be here. But he'll be here the following week, the 13th. He'll be here. So
I'm hoping. Really quick, is French signing different from ASL?
Yes.
Yeah. So France has a French sign language, and yeah, we can. That's a really big thing, but sign language is not universal. Typically, each country has their own version of sign language. France has French sign language. America has American sign language. But then there is some overlap in between countries and languages. Like Canada has, I think, 5 altogether: Inuit and Canadian and French. And I'm sorry, not Canadian, but they use ASL, but they have regional signs. And ASL can also mean other sign languages like Arabic Sign Language and Australian Sign Language. So that's a very like deep rabbit hole if you want to look into various sign languages. I think as of the latest statistic I saw is over 300 sign languages. But yeah, it's definitely not universal. I get some comfy crutches.
I got that for him. It's funny because I had crutches from like my knee surgery and stuff that I've kept over the years because you never know. And he's like, I said, well, let's get everything set up, you know, your height and everything. Well, he's like 6 foot. I'm 5'4". Okay. So even at the highest they would go, my crutches didn't fit him. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to order him like crutches for a giant. And I have like these like little squishy pad things that go over the top and over the handle things because man, them suckers hurt. So I got those like all set up for him. So he's doing pretty good, but yeah, he's a little. Yeah,
last week we were practicing like getting out of the tub and stuff.
Because he can't do any like.
They weren't the same. They weren't the same height. They were off by a notch. So
my bad.
I'm like falling all over the place. Like, what is going on? My balance cannot be this bad.
Oh my gosh, his Siri just scared the crap out of me. Oh, my soul left my body. That was scary. Anyways, but yeah, like because okay, our shower has like glass doors, those stupid slider doors. We had to take those off because 6 feet, his leg's like completely straight. How am I supposed to get him in there? You know, it's like crazy. So we've been having like prep and do all this kind of crazy stuff. So
okay, really quick, if you're a member on YouTube, does it automatically transfer to the website? Same content on different platforms. So we have memberships here on YouTube. So we have 3 levels: support, and then VIP, where you have the workshops and the exclusive videos and stuff like that, and then courses. And so beyond the basics is courses and everything into it. So like if you're signed up for courses on the membership or on YouTube, then you already have access to everything that we have to offer. And same thing with Patreon. It's set up with the same 3 tiers. So it's just basically a platform preference for you.
That's great.
Oh, nice.
Because there are some really good flashcards out there. For example, there's one over my shoulder right there. See it? See it right there? We love, I know, I'm like right there.
We need to get a better camera so you can actually see the stuff in the background.
But those are really good flashcards. I love those flashcards. They're super awesome. They are called 500 Flashcards of American Sign Language by Gregory Poor. Joffrey Poor, my bad. See, it's far away, even I can't read it. But yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, see? So yeah, love those. Wait.
Really quick.
See, that's the one I was doing.
Diana was asking, when do you have time to practice with your daughter? Do you actually take time out of the day to focus strictly on ASL?
So we SimCom with her where we sign and talk at the same time. But we will sign directly to her. Like if she's doing something, I'll look over at her and sign to her. Oh, yeah, I hear something. My spidey senses are tingling. Okay. All right. Anyways, but yeah, we do practice with her. We also utilize like signing time. She loves signing time and stuff like that. So, yeah, we do practice with her. My dad's hard of hearing. So she has no choice but to learn because we're fluent. She's going to be fluent because she's going to have to communicate with her grandfather because my dad's like going deaf. So he will be eventually fully deaf. My dad's fluent in signs, so is my mom. So she has to learn. And she understands that too with my dad. Like she'll tell my dad, I love you. And like stuff like that. Super cute. So yeah, we do practice with her. She's 2, so her attention span is like, that's why we incorporate
so sometimes like we'll turn
time.
our voices off and just sign with her. And so they're not really long conversations, but we are able to have like silent conversations with her. Like, if we're in back when we used to have like meetings in person, like we would be able to, say, sit or to stop if she's like playing with something. And so like we're able to have that kind of communication with her.
My niece is 2 years old and does not speak. Would it be okay to start signing with her? Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? The best way to get her started, because she's 2, again, like I said, signing time is very captivating for young kids. Very captivating. And if you start incorporating, I told you, my spidey senses were tingling. She's coming. If you just watch signing time with her if you can and practice, like be excited about it too, like, oh, that's A, that's B, sing the songs with her and stuff, because I'm assuming she's hearing, she just doesn't speak. So she's going to be able to hear like the interactive and fun songs and stuff like that, and she's going to find that captivating and really enjoyable. So absolutely, just go ahead now, take that opportunity. We've been signing with her since literally the day she was born. He started doing that with her. So she knows about 400 to 500 signs right now that she will produce to me. She doesn't like doing it on command anymore. She's like, I ain't your show monkey. And like, I'll ask her, like, how do you sign this? And she's like, even though I know she
was great when she was 1. Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, sign dolphin, sign cat, sign dog.
Sign
and she would just go through
okay, now I tell her, sign this. No. I'm like, oh, brat. But
those 2s.
those 2s, man. But yeah, absolutely. Take up that opportunity and definitely start signing with her.
Thanks, Julia.
With her.
Listen to your doctors. It's funny, Jerry told me the same thing. Let's see here. I've had knee replacement and a hip replacement. Oof, COVID is a problem, true, but the good news is they're super careful. Yep, that's what they've been telling us, and you can always text each other.
He told me, he's walking in with me on FaceTime. Hey, stop. He's walking in with me on FaceTime because if they ask him questions that he doesn't have the answer to, which is very likely, because I'm telling you. But he's so nervous, so he's going to have me on FaceTime, and I'm like, babe, he'll be fine. But in case like they start asking him stuff, I can be like, hi, I have the answer to this question, and just kind of like help him out and stuff. But he's like super stressed out. I feel so bad. He's back. I think he heard me.
I'm not that stressed out. Okay, I'm a little stressed.
I'm like, when was the last time you slept?
4 years ago? Before children?
He hasn't slept like in...
I mean, I'm an insomniac anyways. Like, I just
days.
have a busy brain and I can't turn it off sometimes.
He hasn't slept in like 4 days because his surgery's coming up and he's getting like more stressed out. But yeah. I told him, because we were kind of debating like, well, because of COVID, but his knee's getting worse and worse and worse. I'm like, oh no, we're doing it. We're doing it. And that's what I said too. I'm like, you know, hospitals have to be like super nitpicky in general. But now with COVID, they have no choice but to be even more so. So I'm like, you're probably safer now than you were a year ago. But yeah, so, okay, guys, we have reached the end. I mean, we went over an hour. My bad. Sorry, guys. I know it's like,
I know we try to keep them under an hour.
But it never happens.
But yeah, be sure, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe because we got a lot of cool videos coming out. I'm going to try to do a fingerspelling practice video every Friday. And then I'm also going to be trying to do some interviews. One, I'm going to reach out to Dr. Luann Sailors, and you're talking about nonverbal. And she's a CODA, and she has her doctorate, and she's a teacher. And so she has a lot of experience with working with children that are nonverbal and autistic. So I'm going to see if I can do an interview with her and kind of go into that a little bit. And like I'm going to reach out to Steve Kaufman and maybe Lydia Makova and see if I can maybe get an interview with them.
That'd be cool.
And so
Polyglots.
Yeah, so definitely I'm going to have some really cool videos coming up for 2021. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we're going to continue to try to do the free ASL group practice sessions at least once a week for next year. And let me know what videos that you might be interested in. You can just leave a comment in the comment section down below or in the live chat.
Keep talking.
And one other thing that I want to get your opinion on is like one of the most highly requested things that I've been getting is like a step-by-step course. And so that's something that I do want to tackle in 2021. But I'm curious on what platform that you might be more interested in having it in. There's Skillshare, which is like a subscription-based platform, but then you get access to tens of thousands of other classes. But then there's another one like it's called Teachable, and like Ashley Clark from Signed with Heart like has an ASL fingerspelling course on Teachable, but it's basically you pay for it once and it's done. So let me know if like what platform that you might be interested in having that kind of course on, whether a subscription-based like Skillshare or a Teachable where it's just like buy one and you own it.
Okay, wait, somebody had a question and I don't want to miss it. What? Flick.
Wow.
Hold on, wait, I gotta find it again. I know. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay. So in the future, when I become an interpreter, what college do you recommend, and what will I first learn when I'm in it? So, okay.
That's a heavy question.
No, it's not. It's just it depends. So there's what's called an interpreter training program, an ITP. A few colleges offer them. It depends on which state you live in. For example, Florida has one. I know somebody who's in one. California has a couple. So you just kind of look around in your area to find out which college offers an ITP, an interpreter training program. First thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to master the language. So you're going to probably take ASL 1 through 4, and then you'll start the interpreter training program, which is a 2-year program. Now, I'm going to throw myself out there. I have never taken an ITP. That's not how I became, personally, that's not how I became an interpreter. Am I a certified interpreter? Yes. But to get a certification does not mean you need a college degree in order to do it. So there's different avenues and paths you can take. If you're starting out And like for me, I was fluent in the language long before I became an interpreter. And then I slowly started interpreting for various reasons before I actually made it a career. So my avenue with it was a little different. But if you're wanting, if you're new and this is a career you're wanting to jump into and you're new to the language, then my advice to you then is to, yes, you're going to look at your colleges. Some of them offer this, some of them don't. Get your associates in American Sign Language. You'll be required to take ASL 1 through 4. They might have a deaf culture class. There's all kinds of stuff. Get your associates in ASL because it does look good on a resume that you have a degree in it. When it comes to your bachelor's degree, you can continue to get your bachelor's degree perhaps in communications because that's what your job is as an interpreter, is you provide communication. You bridge that gap. So you can go forth and you can double major with it, with your associates and your ASL degree. You can actually double major and those classes will overlap. I know that because that's what I'm doing right now. It's not required for my job, but I had the time during COVID and I said, why not? So that's from my personal experience. What I'm currently doing is I double majored with that and with getting my degree in communications because it's my job. It's what I do. So that's what I would recommend when you go into your bachelor's degree. That is when you'll start your ITP program. Now, the reason why I say getting your bachelor's degree is because I don't know where you're located, but if you're in California or certain areas throughout the country, they have what is the National Certified Interpreter, which is the through the RID. Now, that certification requires you to have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't matter what your degree is in. You could be majored in ballet. I don't agree with it, but whatever. It doesn't matter what your major is in, as long as you have the credits associated with a bachelor's degree, and then you're qualified to take that test. However, there's a loophole with that. If you have enough work experience and college credits, like an associate or whatever, you can go and then you can do the loophole and do that if you wish. But oh, you're in New York? Okay. I don't remember what New York does. But I would just look in your local college. I would say community college, but yeah. So just look in your local college, try to get a catalog, see what they offer. But I'll tell you, in order to take the ITP, I think you have to it has to be a transfer. It'll be in a university. So it'll be like one of ours is in Fresno State University or whatever like types that they have there. So if that's the path that you're wanting to go down, you want to go into more educational way of getting your certification, and if you're wanting to do it like that. But yeah, totally up to you. See, it wasn't that bad. I can do it. I can do it without being all crazy.
In 5 minutes or less.
I can do it. Somebody says, Johnny, do you do floor time?
Hey, very cool. Somebody's in Gallaudet University.
Very nice. That's awesome.
It was really cool. The last workshop that we did, we had somebody join us that was deaf and graduated from Gallaudet.
Oh, yeah.
Was it I think in 1999 or something.
Yeah.
But that was really cool.
Do I do floor time? I don't know what that means. Somebody asked if I do floor time. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Can you let me know?
Before we leave, people give a like.
What?
Van P.
Before people give a like. Thank you. Okay.
LaGuardia Community College.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to binge watch and catch up with everyone. Why are the numbers so hard to learn? That is a topic for another night. It's not that numbers are hard to learn. They're not. And if you watch, we have a workshop specifically that focuses on numbers. And it's not that they're hard to learn. They're just
sometimes there's variations which make it hard.
And it just I can't do it. We'll be here for another 20 minutes. I can't do it. But if
go
you
check
watch,
out the numbers workshop.
Yeah, the numbers workshop.
It's
we
free
talk
on YouTube.
about that. So yeah. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. But yeah, we will not see you guys next week unless you're in the group practice session on Zoom. But we will see you guys January 13th because this one. So, all right, guys. Well,
have a great day and a half that's left in 2020, and we will see you in 2021. You see something real quick?
Yeah, floor time, because she says, oh, never mind. I thought Chris said earlier that you work with kids on the spectrum. They do floor time in a kind of way of doing that. We don't work, he doesn't work with them like that, because he's an interpreter in the education system. He works with them, but in a different way.
Yeah, so like as an interpreter for education, particularly like elementary, middle, and high school, particularly like elementary, there's a lot of like RSP teachers that I've worked with, and deaf and hard of hearing teachers that I've worked with over the years. And so I do have a lot of experience in working with kids on that spectrum, but not directly, but just in that environment.
Yeah, they all work together, but there's specific people who work with them. But yeah. Okay, guys. So, all right, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll see you on the 13th. If not, we'll see you, next week. But yeah, not a problem. I know people are like, thank you for the 3 months free trial. Absolutely. So yeah, until January 13th, we'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. That looked weird. I went later. Later. Okay. All right. Whatever. Good night, guys.